Hello everyone and welcome back to another body modification video. Today we're looking at eyeball tattooing. I've done a few videos about this already. However, I'm really interested in making this a series where I look at all different types of body modifications and react to people getting them, the healing and the aftermath. So if that sounds like something you're interested, please continue watching. So if you don't know what an eyeball tattoo is, it is pretty self-explanatory. It is not technically self-explanatory, but what it looks like is self-explanatory. It is the white of the eye or the sclera that has been injected with ink and made a different color. And this is being performed by body modification artists. My mentor said that this is the closest thing to tattooing an eyeball. Perfect. So well done. This is a perfect example of not only excellent tattooing, but excellent eyeball tattooing. That is absolutely not the way that an eyeball tattoo should be done. Technically, it's not really a tattoo, is it? It's an injection of ink into the sclera. So using a tattoo machine on an eyeball would completely shred it to pieces and destroy your eye. That would not be ideal. This person is obviously clearly a very funny person and making a joke on eyeball tattooing. A few minutes after getting my eye tattooed, oh my god, that looks horrendous. It certainly doesn't look nice to begin with. It looks painful and terrifying. Look, the black, when it's like healed, looks super nice. But seeing it at the beginning where it's clearly like still spreading out looks horrendous. That person looks like they're going through agony. Even though a lot of people tend to say that this procedure doesn't hurt, I don't know if I completely believe that, because people are saying that that part of your eye doesn't have pain receptors on it. I just don't see how when you see the eye in that form that you can say that like there's no pain whatsoever. I mean, the eye looks swollen and inflamed. There's got to be some sort of pain. Maybe it wasn't from the needle, the injections themselves, but the aftermath, surely you've got some pain. Surely. It looks way too uncomfortable for there to be zero pain.
Today you're going to learn something about eyeball tattoos. Especially my eyeball tattoo. I have mine now for exactly 7 years and it's done by Howie Luna Cobra. He is the inventor of the eyeball tattoo, so I choose him for mine. The procedure is absolutely painless and it took maybe 5 seconds for one injection and I got 4. I can see normal and it don't affect my life in any way. And of course you can get blind, but that's why you choose someone who really know what you do, and you don't go to someone just random on the street and say, hey, can you inject some ink into my eyeball? Yeah.
I mean, is anyone really doing that? I don't think anyone's walking up to randoms in the street and asking them to inject ink into their eyeball. There are definitely people within the body modification industry that shouldn't be doing it, that maybe have done it on a few people, or maybe are getting into eyeball tattooing that shouldn't be doing it. Like, no one is licensed, there's no regulation or qualification behind this, so technically no one should be doing it. But yes, obviously it would be best to go to someone with a lot of experience, and the inventor of the inventor of eyeball tattooing would, like, that makes sense to be the person to go to. The major issue I have with it is that it is super unregulated and there are people who probably shouldn't be doing it that are doing it. Not to mention, I definitely see it as, if you aren't a medical professional, you shouldn't be doing it, but that's a whole other video in itself, because without someone doing it, people are gonna find someone else to do it, if that makes sense. I'll go into it in another video where I can get a bit more in depth about that. No one's walking up to randoms and doing that. That's just not happening. They might be walking into dodgy tattoo studios with a person who says they can do it and they're getting it done. Like, that's more likely what is happening.
Blinded by a tattoo on the eyeball. This is something that I reported on almost 10 years ago for a program I did on E4. Check this out. A technique that's being adopted that's even more shocking than the eye jewelry is tattooing of the eyeball. The video you'll see that there are not surgeons, not ophthalmologists, putting needles very close to the eyeball.
Oh, that looks like it was just
and
being
injecting
poked
ink
around.
into the top layer of the eye.
It's ridiculous. Don't mess with your eyes. What are you doing? Who would you trust to do that?
Exactly though. It's 100% true.
Eyeball tattooing is something I've been involved with for years now. The most recent eyeball tattoo I've done was a multicolored eyeball tattoo. So it was almost like a bright colored oil slick.
Cool.
Now, if you've got a needle
terrifying.
next to your eyeball, you're talking millimeters in terms of potentially going through the eyeball and causing irreversible sight loss.
This is the first time I've ever done a multicolored eye, and I'm sure it's the first time that it's ever been tried.
The problem is that the sclera, or the white bit of the eye, if you puncture that, you're then into the jelly of the eye, and if you inject ink in that space, you'll blind the patient.
There's no way of knowing what will come of this. What will these original eyes look like? How has the ink settled? So there's certainly a lot of risks involved with that.
Well, basically, all it takes is one patient to go blind from it, and that'll be game over for that.
I mean, I'm always amazed that there's some jackass who wants to sleep with this person. You know, like that should be what Darwinism and evolution is about, is weeding out, you know, freak genes like this, but there's some chick who thinks that's really hot.
I mean, little bit harsh.
Personally, I did not find it painful. There's very little nerve endings in that part of the eye, so it was just a lot of pressure. For most people, I think it's more of a mental thing than it is
I can imagine.
a pain thing. Now, I will say the healing period was a little intense. My eyes swelled outside of my head, and I had light sensitivity to the point that I technically thought I was blind on the 4th day, but then all of the swelling went down and I was fine. Like, I texted a friend and was like, yeah, I think I'm going to be blind tomorrow. But I wasn't, so I'm fine.
Honestly, it seems like this is a common thing that happens, that like people are prepared for blindness, which is an insane thing to prepare yourself for, or like be like, yep, I caused this to myself. I can't even imagine having that train of thought to get to that point where you're like, all right, I'll just accept it now. Like, I did this. It could happen, and I think it has happened. That would be the most terrifying moment of your life, I can imagine. We've got a before and after. Look at the difference. It's like a completely different person. It's crazy how much it changes, like the face completely, and like your demeanor completely as well. Obviously, just because black somehow just gives like evil, but the other colors don't give off an evil vibe. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like down below and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll be back very soon. Bye.